Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is me, Duke CT, back with you once again as I take a look at a quick little video review of Moonfall. Yes, I gotta take a little. I saw this movie back this past Wednesday, and I have some thoughts, and not good ones. And it's a shame because this was the most expensive independently moving films of all time with a $146 million budget. And looking at the box office right now, I don't think that's going to come even close to that. Anyway, let's get into the story. It starts off 10 years ago as astronaut Brian Harper, played by Patrick Wilson, he was working on a satellite on a 2011 space shuttle mission with the co-pilot, Jodica Joe Fowler, played by Halle Berry, and the red shirt. I didn't even care for the person who was actually be the, gonna be a part of it. They were singing, the Africa song, like, bless the rains down in Africa. And then, out of nowhere, a mysterious black swarm attacks and takes out everyone, including the red shirt and all that stuff. And first off, I gotta say it's nice that the black smoke from Lost can get work. Good on them. Good on them. And anyway, the mission goes bad, and they go back. He saves. Brian Harper says he's a co-pilot, but then, it's like, you messed things up, and, back on Earth, no one believes it, and then Harper comes, he's fired, he's labeled as a kook and everything else, and then, his wife divorces him, because of course he does. Then 10 years later, he's, living on a house that's always being evicted, working on cars, and, drinking himself to an early grave. The divorced dad cliche. And meanwhile, you had Jodica Joe Fowler, who stayed with NASA as the deputy director, and her life is going well. Who's been played by Halle Berry? Her life is going well, and she has a kid too with a divorced husband, which is, what's it with the main co-leads divorcing their significant others? I don't know. That's just weird. Anyway, 10 years later, a conspiracy theorist, Casey Houseman, being played by John Bradley, who believes the moon is a megastructure, finds out that the moon's orbit is getting closer to Earth, and he tries to share his findings with Brian Harper, an astronaut day. He gets, I might be a little crazy, but you're the real nutso. And then next he goes on social media and starts sharing all this information. Meanwhile, Brian Harper looking at the news, seeing his kid, speeding, getting in trouble, and then find out he has to go to court, trying to, interrupting the proceedings. And meanwhile, you have Tom Lopez, who played by Michael Pena, got his lawyer there trying to do the best he can. He's successful. He's not the stepdad. He's the dad who stepped up. And next thing he sees like they frame him as the bad guy and such, but he's not really the bad guy. And more often not, it looks like Brian Harper has the issue of letting his son go out and everything else, saying just oh man, the son, come on, he made a mistake. He didn't know those drugs were there. He was scared and everything. I'm like, dude, you don't know your son that well. I'm betting that the drugs were his. I'm betting that's the car, and he got scared. The reason why he did those speed limit and such, he got caught, and now he's going to jail. Which, you know what, that kid needed. No, maybe he needs a little bit of time, just to go away from jail for a while to learn consequences instead of people trying to bail him out. Because hey, that stuff hasn't worked yet for him. Anyway, after that, you find out that later on, when the moon, everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, the moon's coming in and everything else." You know what Brian Harper's doing? He's going to the courthouse again, tried to beg the judge, begging the judge to, like, say, bribing him to get his son out. Literally bribing him with his he's got, like, I got this vintage motorcycle, vintage car. Like, dude, are you bribing me? Really? In a like, he's all like, dude, I'm off the clock, but you bribed me in the courthouse. Man, look, if there was no moon out there, I would have locked your ass up too, so you both can serve time together or something like that. So he's like, I gotta get out of here, and then realize that, oh crap, the moon and everything else is coming close to the Earth. Then they had NASA does a mission to investigate the irony. Then the swarm comes in, the black smoke comes in, kills all 3 crew members, all the other red shirts after they drop the probe and in this artificial hole in the moon. And then the director of NASA says it's over. Screw it. It gives the job to Halle Berry. Jodika's like, here you go. You want to know the truth? Here you go. Then finds out that after goes to this secret warehouse or whatever, finds out that, oh yeah, NASA already knew about this because Apollo 11. They said, oh, the contact went out for 2 minutes. Nah, it was more. It was 11 minutes. And then it was a block out the huge data and everything. And the moon supposedly resonated strongly from the impact of Apollo 11's jettison fuel tank and all this other stuff. And it was all this exposition comes from Donald Sutherland, who's in a wheelchair, just rolls up and just says, "Yeah, this is it. This is true." And then all this other stuff is true, but we have this program called ZX7, an EMP to kill the swarm, but we just budget cuts and everything. No one cared, and there it is, and we're gone. It rolls back out, and just legitimately just like he was about to just take himself out to film. He had in more ways than one. If you catch my drift. Anyway, you had Brian Harper and Casey Houseman come in, and they're like, oh, they meet up in the hotel, saying, he had an impromptu conference of all the crazy weirdos and everything about the moon, the megastructure, trying to figure out solutions. And Brian Harper's there to say, okay, what's going on? Da 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 da. And then next, we have like, okay, flooding. Earth is getting all these, these disasters. This is a Roland Emmerich movie, so you're gonna have these huge CGI disasters, tsunamis, gravity, and all this type of stuff. Just all these other things. And then, well, as all things look to be lost, we don't know what's gonna happen. Joe Fowler, hugs her like a little kid, and found out she had a space shuttle. Like, oh, we don't use this anymore. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's it. We'll use a space shuttle, but first I need a pilot to help me. And that's thanks to the government resources. They find Brian Harper and Casey Houseman, and then they go to work trying to save the world with this ragtag crew and everything, which goes down to pretty much Casey Harper and Joe Fowler. Of course they do. That's what it is. Anyway, Harper says the only way you're gonna have this mission done is that you're gonna have to save my drug-addled speed, my speed limit, driving over speed limit son, and get him out of the consequences that he was gonna have and such. And they say, fine, there you go. The kid gets freed. He does some heroic stuff later on, but the kid I don't know. Charlie Plummer, who plays it, I don't know what it was. Was it the direction or something? He just plays like this Alpharenza type kid who just doesn't know anything about consequences, or maybe he doesn't really learn much. But it just that's what I felt like. I never really connected with him. Maybe it's just the script. Maybe it's the script or the direction. But man, I did not care for the Sonny Harper, at all as a character. That's just my thing. I didn't care for him at all. Anyway, the three heroes go up to the moon and find out it is a mega structure, and the swarm is siphoning energy caused by a white dwarf, at the center of the moon. It's causing the whole megastructure's orbit to destabilize due to its power source being compromised. The megastructure was, and then here it is. After they have this long little flight, ooh, we gotta get away from it, and everything else. Guess what happens? The megastructure's AI, the good AI, saves them and drags Brian Harper into the big exposition hologram chamber. And it comes out that, bam, the megastructure was conducted by the ancestors of humanity. There were more technology advanced by the present descendants billions of years in the past and such. The place looks like a mix of Halo, Mass Effect, and all this other stuff. And they had like the DNA saying, yeah, we make DNA and life and everything. I'm like, it's just amazing they combined all of that. Halo, Mass Effect, and Prometheus. And to be fair, the three astronauts are at least somewhat smarter than the people in Prometheus. At least when they were going the oxygen and finding out, like in Prometheus when they the astronauts, the people who are so big brain smart, they just alien ship has oxygen in it. Well, let's just breathe it in there. At least in this movie, they were gotten to the hangar of something. They escaped the black smoke monster, and just said, okay, we're trying to reach the for the helmets and everything. I mean, they just it wasn't, oh my gosh, it was not by choice, but using the helmets. It wasn't by choice. It was, it was a happenstance. It was convenience and such, which I will forgive that to this movie, because at least they are not going to be doing something that's so stupid in the alien movies, But anyway, that it was all just, there were billions of years in the past, yada, yada, yada. And there was an arc. There was arc, and it seeded Earth as humanity and everything else. And then, it was all, the swarm is an AI that just got aware for some reason. It just thought that human beings are evil or something and just kills all the human beings. And then because the swarm is so angry, or this AI is like, we have to kill all humans and everything else. It has to kill, we have to find every bit of life and destroy it. They found Moon and everything else, and just now it's just set to destruction and everything else. And meanwhile, you have General Doug Davison, the ex-wife of the ex-husband of Joe Fowler, played by Amy Akukafor. He did decently, and they were going to just nuke the moon. But no, he delays the strike order, says his wife is going to save the day and everything. And then some shenanigans happen with the moon and such. And there's like a huge thing that collapsed the base. We don't know if he's alive or dead. I'm betting, hopefully he survives, but no one knows about that. Probably died, who knows. But anyway, let's skip to the end, as after all the exposition done, Casey sacrifices himself to lure the swarm to the EMP, detonates it, saves the stuff, and the power restored. The moon returns to its regular orbit, and everyone is happy. The two, Joe Fowler and Brian Harper, saved the day, and everything's back to normal. But then, when the operating system, gets back online, Casey's consciousness is saved by the moon's AI. And then he says, well, after all this happens, the AI in the in the form of his mom states like it's now time to get to work. It's like, what are you talking about? And this sets up a sequel. Oh man, this is just a high profit dumb B movie. But man, this movie was dumb, and honestly, I was laughing at this. It's just like, this is a movie that, honestly, if this was on cable, I would say go watch it. If it's on streaming and there's nothing else you want to stream, I'll say watch it. But in the movie theater, no, don't watch this at all. I do not recommend this movie. No. Go watch it when it gets cable. Go watch it when it hits streaming. This movie right here is just not that good. It's not that. It's fan fiction level tier writing at points in the mood, and it felt like it just dragged on. And honestly, this movie did not need to be 130 minutes long. It could have been 90 minutes, and they would cut some stuff. This movie would have flowed a lot better. But I don't know what this thing is. Like, movies used to be 90 minutes, and now it just has to be overly long and bloated. This thing needed an editor, and I don't know who. I'm like, Roland Emmerich, who just the last big movie he had was The Day After Tomorrow, and everything else just been complete and total embarrassments. Dude needs, I don't know who is the editor and everything else. Someone needs to edit these movies. Someone needs to come in and say, hey, man, we don't need this hour and 30 minutes. We need to cut this down to 100 minutes or to 95 minutes. Because if this movie was like 100 minutes or 95 or whatever, 95 to 90 minutes, I would have given this movie a lot more positive. It's like, it's in, we're out, and we have some fun. But this just is way too long. It gets, and the crazy stuff, it's everything drags. That's the thing. This movie drags, and I just wish this movie could have been a little more crazier, but also a little more focused at stuff. That's what I wish. This movie needs to be a lot more focused. Maybe I'll take another look at a movie like this at Last Review Standing. If y'all want me to, but man, this is just too. This movie right here is just not. It's not good, and it's overly long and boring. As I give this, if I want to give it a rating, I would give this a 4 out of 10. And it's a shame because I think there's some good parts in here. And I don't mind the crazy stuff, but man, this just is overly long and bloated and too, just like, man, Roland Emmerich, you need to just sit down. Don't talk about like, oh, the superhero movies and this, that, that. I'm like, shut up. Just sit your ass down. Sit your ass down. Don't talk about this ever again, all right? Don't talk, man. Just, fix your own stuff. Stay in your own lane and fix your own stuff, all right? Anyway, this is Dukesy T here. Peace and love. I'll see you when I see y'all. Later.